Hi everybody. I wanted to put together a little video showing you how to use our website for our course, Blackboard, and how to do the MyStatLab video, and basically just kind of introduce you to the platform for this online class. So my name is Professor Reed. I'll be with you for these next 15 weeks or so as we look at Statistics 1. So the first thing I want to do, and my computer will be a bit slow starting up from the semester. The page that I'm in right now is Blackboard, and while you can get to Blackboard through our college system, the mycollege.sunybroome.edu page, and clicking on classes, there is a direct way into here. So let me kind of X that out and show you. So Blackboard should work. I'm using Mozilla, but it should work with Chrome and Internet Explorer as well. But the direct way into it is broome.open.suny.edu. The benefit of doing this path, and let me just give that to you. The benefit of using this path is that it accesses Blackboard through the SUNY system instead of BCC. So if there's a local, say, power outage on Broome's campus, the sunybroome.edu site probably will not work, and the My College site won't either. But if we do this, broome.open.suny.edu, we get into Blackboard. So we will sign in using our BCC credentials here. Right, now going in this way, you'll get a list of courses. You'll probably only have a few. As you can see, I've got a whole bunch. So we do have to find under spring semester our course, which we are MAT 124. And then depending on what class you're in, the section next to it, online, should start with a Y. So when you sign into Blackboard, into our course, it goes to the home page. On the home page is a list of any announcements that I might post. Typically I post anywhere from 1 to 3 announcements a week, kind of a first announcement letting you know what's going on that week. And then if there are any, errors or, changes that need to be made, and then I might post, answering student questions or just with updates or things like that. About 90% of the time when I make an announcement, I click the link to have it also email you. So whatever email you have, on file with the college, you should get my announcements going there as well. So right now there are no announcements, but I do have quite a bit of material posted on our page. If our Blackboard page isn't open yet, then you might be viewing this video really early, and it should be open within a day or so. So over here on this left panel is just a panel of all the different areas. Now the class that you have might look a little bit different than this. Some of these, what I'm scrolling over now, some of these are hidden from view on your class, but we will have one that says Course Info and Docs. So if I click on Course Info and Docs, I've got a bunch of stuff up here. The syllabus, which we call course policies for our campus. Look at that first. You want to read through that, make sure you understand what this course is going to be about and what expectations I have. Do that first. Then there's a couple of items below it. MyStatLab registration directions. MyStatLab is a software package where we're going to do weekly homework assignments. The cool thing about it is that as you're doing the problems, you can click on things like, get a hint, you can click on view a similar example, and depending on the assignment, I usually give you 2 chances at each problem. So as you're doing the problem, if you get something wrong, they usually interject and say, hey, here's a rule you're forgetting, and then you have a chance to correct it. If it gets to the end and marks you wrong for the problem, there is a little link that you can click that says view a similar example, or try a similar example, and that'll give you a second crack at the problem. The problem will be the same structure, but it might be slightly different as far as the specific information. Anyway, let me start with the course policy. When you open these, some of them are set to open right in the same window. A lot of them are going to open in a separate window. Now sometimes what you'll see is it's just downloading down on the bottom of your screen and click to open. Other times it's going to ask you, hey, what program do you want to open with? All right, so a course policy is just a Word document. So here's the course policy for the class. I'll have you, read it over on your own time, but I give you all the information in terms of, how your grade's going to be calculated, what letter grades I use, information for things like there's an extra credit opportunity, there's something called a safety net policy that I use, has my contact information, so make sure you spend some time. I would print this out, spend some time reading this over. While I'm on this page, my email address there, readtj@sunybroome.edu. Monday through Friday, I check that about 3 or 4 times a day, so I can usually get back to you really quick if you send me an email. If you give me a phone call, I am in my office at times, but most of the time I'm not. So you can leave me a message there, and I'll actually attach that to my email. But anyway, please take a little bit of time to read this over, and in fact, your first assignment for the course is going to ask you to answer some questions based on this course policy. I do have to just throw it out there. The course policy that you see right now, I just posted one without having it totally finished. All of the important stuff for you is going to be correct, like when the midterm is, the grading information. But with the start of the classes still being close to a week away, I might go back in and add little sentences and make some typos. So if you're getting a head start and doing this before the 29th, before the first day of class, go back in on the 29th and print out the newest one. So I'm going to X out of this and go back to that course info and docs area. All right, there's directions here for registering for MyStatLab. So, it gives you the step-by-step process, the website, which, by the way, that's a website that lets you get into it. There's a bunch others. If you type in coursecompass.com or mystatlab.com, it takes you to the same place. It might be a good idea to print this out so that you have a hard copy of the directions. But what you want to do is, the first couple days of this semester, sign up for our class in MyStatLab. Because the semester starts on the 29th, if I remember right, I think I had to use that as the first day for enrollment. So if you try to access our class right now, I think it's going to give you an error message like course not available yet. So wait till the 29th and then go to the pearson.com/mylab or coursecompass.com and go through this set of directions to get into the course. So we don't have a requirement for buying a physical textbook because through this MyStatLab you get an electronic version of the textbook. You will have to pay for this at some point. If you pay for it directly online with a credit card, I think it runs about $100. And if you buy it at our bookstore, there will be a markup. So it's probably around $120 or so from our bookstore. And what they'll give you is an access code. If it's going to take you a little bit of time to get to our bookstore, or you need to wait a little bit for the credit card purchase or PayPal purchase, they offer a 14-day free trial. So when you go through these directions, you can click on a little link that says, do temporary access. But if you do that, it's very important that you actually pay for the course and get in before the end of that free period, because then it's hard for me to track down grades and you might lose some work. So let me go back to my notes here. All right, register for our course on MyStatLab. Directions are in Blackboard under course info and docs. All right, so what else is in this course info and docs area? There's a document called Getting Started, and this is where I walk you through, I remind you about MyStatLab and the course policy, but some other things for you to do the first week or so of our semester. And one of those things is accessing and using Minitab. So Minitab is kind of like Excel. It's a spreadsheet application, but it's a little bit more user-friendly, and it's directed totally for statistics. There's several options for using Minitab. If you have a Mac, it's a little bit harder. Minitab and Mac have a hard time talking to each other. So if you have a Mac computer, what you're going to have to do is follow those directions for using apps.sunybroom.edu. All right, I'm going to demonstrate that for you, but I got to warn you, from a campus computer, sometimes it's a little bit wacky. This apps.sunybroom.edu is a way for you to access the college's computer system remotely, so from home on a laptop, for example. So that's another site that is important, apps.sunybroom.edu. It has Word, Minitab, Excel, etc. If you've taken classes on campus and have saved things to your Z drive, your personal drive on our system, you can access documents from your Z drive at home. Let me show you what that's going to look like. By the way, this is also shown in the directions for getting started here. I have some screenshots. All right, but if I open up a new tab, apps.sunybroom.edu. All right, what you can do is here, I believe you're going to be able to click on this log on, and then again it would be signing in with your BCC credentials. When I did it from my home computer, there was actually a little button to click that said use light version to avoid having to download stuff, but maybe they've done an update since then, so maybe it's just a skip to login. But anyway, here is what they've got. They've got Minitab 17. That's the version that we use on campus. So if I give you an assignment where you have to use Minitab for some statistics and you don't have Minitab on your home computer, which would probably be the case, then you can come here, open up Minitab, and it is accurate when it says this may take a few moments. When I've done this from home, there have been times where it's taken about 4 or 5 minutes to kind of spin before it opens for me. And on this computer, it might take quite some time. So in the interest of time, I'm going to stop their spinning. But anyway, give this a shot, see how it goes. If you have a Mac, this will probably be the way you have to do Minitab. If you have a PC computer, we have temporary student licenses for Minitab. Because I have Minitab on this computer here already, I'm not going to be able to go through this full process, but there are install directions up here, directions for loading Minitab to your PC using this link. And then when you open this link from home, this is a big zipped file. This might take some time. But anyway, when you open this, it's going to take several minutes. You can go through the set of directions to put Minitab on your home computer. I think, though, from what I've been hearing, is that the sequence of prompts that they ask have been slightly different with different computers. And I'm not sure if that's because of what programs are on the computer or whether Minitab had been on there previously. But it was relatively straightforward for me. There's a series of prompts like English language and things like that. But I put it on my home computer about 3 months ago and haven't had any problems. But that will take quite a bit of time because those files are large. So you can try to put Minitab on your home computer by going through that process. I also have something that'll be more relevant to you a few weeks down the road, an introduction to Minitab. So this is just a YouTube video that I made and embedded here, showing you some basics of how to use Minitab. You really don't have to worry about that at all for the first week, but then once we get rolling into the second and third week, we'll start using Minitab a little bit. And the project that you guys have later on for the semester uses Minitab quite a bit, and I've talked about a bunch of the Minitab project requirements on this introduction video. Then finally we got a link here for 2 tables, tables 5 and 6, that we'll use in later chapters. So what's going to happen is you see this weekly folders with content and assignments. Each week we're going to have a different weekly folder. So right now we haven't even started week 1 yet. Hey, there it is, that Minitab file that I tried to open, finally got it. By the way, you'll end up running this one called setup to add it to your computer. But anyway, so far, I mean, week 1 hasn't even started, so all we have is a week 1 folder. Typically you'll see more than what's in this folder. In week 1, there's a narrated PowerPoint set for the notes sections 1.1 to 1.4 that I want you to watch. There's a week 1 assignment that's on the course policy information, and it says it's due February 4th. So if you open this, it'll be a Word document with a bunch of questions. All right, and when you get done reading the course policy, I want you to answer these questions. Again, do not do this until the 29th, because I might edit the course policy until first day of class. So do not do this until the 29th. But what you'll do is you'll type in your answers here. For example, first one, what is Mr. Reed's email address, phone number, and office number? So you can type in your answers for these, and then when you're done, save this to your computer. Right? Because what you'll end up doing for these weekly assignments is either type in your answers, or for other ones you'll print out the questions and hand write your answers in, and then either scan it or take pictures of it to save to your computer. And then what you'll do is go back into Blackboard and go into the Dropbox. So each assignment will have this Dropbox with it, where you go in and it gives you a reminder, hey, the due date's this, and there how many points it's worth. And then you'll go to attach file and browse your computer, find the document on your computer that you want to attach. Once you find your file and double click it, come here and submit. Make sure it shows you an image. It should show you an image that your assignment has been submitted before you just leave and assume it's handed in. Other weeks there will be a template similar to what I'd hand out in class of questions and examples for you to click on and print out. And then there will be a link to a YouTube video where I've gone through and showed you how to fill that in, basically giving you a virtual lecture so you can watch the YouTube video, pause it as you need to, and fill out the template that you print out and use that as like a note set. So week 1, chapter 1 is a little bit different. There's not really examples to do, it's mostly vocabulary, so that's why there's only a PowerPoint for week 1. I usually don't post weekly folders that far ahead, because the way that I give feedback is I post solutions, so I can't really, if somebody's working ahead, I can't really grade their stuff and post solutions until everybody in the class has hit the due date. So weekly folders They'll be available either the Sunday or the Monday of the week to come in most cases, although there might be some times where I post maybe 2 weeks out in advance. The other area over here that you'll need to work on in the course is the discussions. So there is a first discussion post here. It says introductions. So, read the directions or the descriptions carefully. It tells you what information I want to know. And then when you're ready, what you'll do is say, okay, create a forum. Or yours, since I'm the instructor, you might actually have a create thread is what it'll probably say for yours. Create thread. You can also, if you click into this, there it is. So now you get the create thread option. So as a student, if you want to create a thread, whatever, let's just say somebody's name is Mike R. You can say, okay, Mike R, intro, and then type in your introduction, and then submit. So what I'd like is for everybody to get introductions posted soon. You'll know I can give you a bonus point if you add a picture to your Blackboard avatar. As you notice, I've got this little picture associated with my name. So if you add a picture, I give you an extra bonus point. But I'd like you to read over your classmates' introductions and reply to them so that you can kind of get to know each other a little bit. Okay, so last thing I'm going to show you in this video is that MyStatLab. Again, the way, just because I'm set in my ways, and this is what it was a few years ago when I started using it, CourseCompass.com, although MyStatLab.com, or that website they list in the registering instructions all work. So let me show you what that kind of looks like. You will have to, if you haven't used this before, you will have to set up your account the first time that you go to this site. So register as a student and go through the directions. That's how you'll register and set up your account. For me, I've already got an account, and this is how you'll do it. This is how you'll do it after the first registration. Right, so you see I got a bunch of courses in here. You'll probably just have this one or maybe one or two others, but click into our course. My display will look a little bit different than yours. And this should be faster on your computer. Wow, this is usually pretty darn fast. Usually once you click on a course, it only takes 2 or 3 seconds at most to get in. Alright, so hold on. Every once in a while this happens. And hey, this is a demonstration of one of the things we're both going to have to do in this class is not save things for the last minute. Sometimes websites don't work and there are, technical difficulties, so do not save work in this class till the last minute. In order to be fair to all students, I can't consider, excuses like, well, the internet went on at my house or anything like that. So, if a due date is for Sunday night, do not wait until Sunday evening to attempt to get it done. Oh man. All right, so again, the display that I have for my main menu is different than yours. You will have one that says homework. All right, I have to go this way to take a look at what I have assigned for you. Although with this issue, we're not even going to be able to look at it. But anyway, you'll have a homework link to click into. The MyStatLab homework, I believe, like I said, the course opens on the 29th. So on the 29th or 30th, please sign in and give this a try. The way that you're going to access, by the way, your textbook online, if you want to just do the ebook version and save yourself the money of buying one, is this link right here called Multimedia Library. All right, so in the Multimedia Library, I'm sure it's going to give me the same issue, but inside the Multimedia Library, you can click on looking at, say, extra notes, PowerPoints, extra videos, or there's one option that just says ebook or electronic textbook. And you can click on that and choose the specific section and chapter that you want to look at. That electronic book has exactly the same pages as the physical textbook. I might as well just talk about it now so you know. In the course policy, the last page of that is a list of homework problems from the book, which these are different than the MyStatLab problems. I've listed these problems in the textbook as a way for you to get more practice leading up into our midterm and final. We only have two tests, a midterm and a final. So the midterm will probably, if I'm guessing, the material at the end takes a lot longer than the material in the beginning. So I'm guessing we'll actually be through either chapters 5 or possibly even chapter 6 by the end of the 7th or 8th week. So that will most likely be the content for the midterm. So doing these problems from the book will help you prepare for the midterm and then the final exam. I'm just noticing a typo. Here's one of the things I'll be fixing, before the semester starts. Chapter 11 material. I don't think we're going to have time for it. If we do, I'll post it here. Anyway, these problems help you prepare for those two tests. And if you actually do all these problems throughout the semester and write out the work and keep it in a notebook, if you bring it to the final exam, I'll do a quick grade on it to give you some bonus points. Those bonus points would go in as just like total points, so I'm thinking 12 to 15 total points, which would help cover up, like in a missed assignment or something. That's not 12 to 15 points on the overall average. 12 to 15 points might change the overall average, a couple points, which could help you do like a half letter grade jump or whatever. But anyway, these would be the problems in the end of each one of the sections. So like at the end of section 3.1, here would be the problems I'd like you to try to help get you ready for the midterm, or to do to bring into the final to get some extra credit. So anyway, I know this was a bit long, but thank you for those of you that watched the whole thing. Thank you very much. I hope your semester gets off to a good start, and I look forward to starting to read the introductions you post in the discussions. Thanks, everybody.